How's everybody doing? My name's Mike, and we got Mr. Roots hanging out with us, and I got Miss Uma hanging with us. So she's a 4-year-old German Shepherd, and if you watched a video I did with her not long ago, we were working in here doing her obedience stuff, and at that time, that was the first video I had made with her that was her obedience and I believe her place with her place bed. And with dogs, they can be very sensitive, and that is how she is. She's a sensitive dog, and she has a little touch of fear as well. So fearful dogs tend to be more sensitive. So when I moved her place over here, she got like so certain dogs, say like my dog, he's got to be desensitized to each individual person he meets. She, if you move her place, has to be individually desensitized to that position of the bed. So it kind of made her want to get up off the bed. So now, if you see her now, I moved her bed, and her having more practice and me figuring that out during that video, I started moving her place around the home, at night when we're hanging out with her. So now she feels more relaxed. So that's what you want to do with your dog. If you notice something's not working, since I noticed she was having trouble on place here, but not over here, I made sure to practice this with her. That's what you want to do to get your dog to start to be a stable-minded dog, is you want to tackle all these little issues they have and get them stable. So you see her now, I put it over there. I take 5 minutes to set up, and she's already laying down. And that's what we want from them when they're on place. When we say place, that's really what we want them to do, is to go there and lay down. But really, the only thing we ask them to do is just not get off of that bed. And when we're training a dog, so it's going much better with her now, and as time goes with every dog I train, the more time I have, the better the dog gets. So she's doing really good. There's always an ebb and flow with the dog, so you have to know when to put pressure on the dog and when to back off. So in the earlier video, you saw when I would give her a pretty good correction for coming off a place, because at a certain point the dog has to know, hey man, this is the rules. We can't let you slide forever. She's got to learn. But she's doing a very good job. The longer they go on the bed, that's why we practice it with them. The more we go with the dog, you see that body language, that unsure body language from the dog melt away, and you start to see this. So today we're going to practice the same type of thing, and you're going to see me move faster with her today. I'm going to use what's called attrition. I'm going to be telling her, sit, down, this, that, boom, 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 just like that, in that kind of way. I'm going to move fast with her, because shepherds and any type of fearful dog, they tend to be kind of frantic, right? So what I found with her, what works better, instead of moving at a super slow pace, what I'm going to do is use that attrition, and I'm going to move quickly with her. I'm going to ask her to do things real quick. And then the only other strategy I use with her during her routine, and again, this is a routine that we ask all of our clients to do with our dogs, 5 minutes a day. That's how you keep the dog good at sitting, laying down, and doing this whole thing. So we're going to go ahead and get started with her. Again, I'm going to use attrition. The only other strategy I use with her when I'm training is I'll actually keep her in one position for a long time, and that will actually calm the mind down. So again, I'm either going to go this way with attrition, or I'm going to keep her in one position for a long time to calm her down. I won't know until I start working her. So you see how she's doing so good, being calm, good girl. We always reward the dog when they do good, right? Good girl, good place, that a girl. And give her a little pet, good girl, yeah, good girl, good job. Place. So just because I grab the leash doesn't mean she can come off, place. Okay, heel. Good girl, good girl, sit. That a girl, good girl, heel. Sit. Good girl, atta girl, down. So I let her do that on her own, because that's even more of a submissive position. Down. I have to remind her though when she goes down there that she has to stay there. That's even more of a submissive position than the sit. Heel. sit. No, sit. So I just give her a soft correction, and it doesn't, once she knows more with me now, so I can give her kind of a soft correction. Heel. Sit. Good girl, atta girl. So like I said, if she lays down, that's actually good because that's even more of a submissive position. Sit. Good girl. Sit. Atta girl. Good girl. Good sit. Down. Atta girl. Down. Good girl. Good down. Down. Hey. Down. So if she starts to sniff the carpet or try to get anything off the carpet, I'll just kind of correct her. Good girl. Heel. Sit. Atta girl. Good girl. Place. Good girl. Place. Place. Atta girl. Good girl. So I got to kind of tell her, I got to remind her on place. And she still gets, you can still see she gets a little hesitant. Again, by the end of training, that will subside. The dog will learn that, you know, that's a great spot for her. So that's what attrition looks like with the dog. I like to work them quickly. Heel. Sit. Good girl. Good sit. Heel. Sit. Good girl. Sit. Sit, girl. Good girl. Good sit. Good girl. Good sit, girl. Good job. Heel. Sit. Atta girl. Sit. Good sit, girl. Place. Good girl. Place. Place. So again, I don't tell her stay. If I need her to do something and I think she's going to move or not listen to me or move, I repeat the command. Place. Place. I remind her what I want from her. Heel. So if I keep her in one position, that's just me doing like the sit. I can actually just leave her in a sit. This is how I'll teach them to lay down. Sit. Good girl. Is I'll actually just tell her to sit. Hey, down. I'll tell the dogs to sit, and I won't even make them lay down. I'll just leave them in a sit, and if they try to stand up from the sit, I will correct them and put them in a sit. And there's only one other option once they get kind of bored or tired, which is to actually lay down. So we can get this behavior from a dog with we don't have to even use the leash to lead them down. I can get it from them just by waiting for the dog. This dog did go to another trainer, which is the case of most dogs that I train. Is if they're not super young, they've been to another trainer before me. It was a trainer that used food. They unsuccessfully trained the dog, obviously, and it's a shame that people go through that experience. This dog should have already been, trained if it had been to a trainer. And in my opinion, every trainer should teach a dog how to do it like this, without food. With a leash, you teach a dog to work for your praise. But it is not easy. You must gain a relationship with the dog, and that's why we take so long with the dogs. This dog, it will be with me for a whole month, when most dogs stay 3 weeks. But she did nip me when I came right in the home with I didn't even lay eyes on her before I got nipped. So, but there's nothing wrong with her. She's a good dog. She has working dog genetics. Okay, we know that. The owner told me that. So, with working dog genetics comes a whole lot of responsibility, and you got to work a little bit harder to get the dog to this state. But with the police dog genetics, because she was bred by a gentleman who provided dogs for the police, that gives you the ability. That means the dog's been bred to be turned off at a certain point. The dog has the genetics to stop doing the misbehaving and the things we don't want the dog to do, because the police have to have the ability to turn the dog off when the dog's not working. So this dog has those genetics. So what we did with her in training, good girl, good down. What we did with her down in training is we accessed that those part of her genetics. We slowed her mind down by teaching her obedience training, and through obedience training I can start to make the behavior modification we need through teaching sit, heel. I tell all my clients, when anybody calls me right away, they're calling me, they're asking me, how do we stop the dog from doing A, B, and C? My answer is always, well, we need to teach the dog first what we want, which is like this: down, sit, down, heel. you know, treat trainers claim to train the dog to do these things, but when in reality they do it only for a few seconds, a few moments for the trainer, and the dog's very excited and the dog will break the commands like that. They really don't know the commands. Because when you're trying to train a dog and a dog's misbehaving, excitement is the enemy. When you take food out, the dog will immediately become excited. Plus, you cannot train with food because it will mess the dog's stomach up. You know, she was already overweight when she came to me and she's starting to slim down. We wouldn't want to add treats to the equation and actually make the dog heavier. That's not good for a dog, especially German Shepherds, their hips, their knees. Not a good way to go. Good girl. Good down. Heel. Good girl. Come on, girl. Sit. That a girl. We always have them sit at the threshold. Good girl. Good sit. We always have them sit at the threshold. Place. Place. Good girl. Atta girl. Good place. See? You saw in the last video she wouldn't lay down so quick. So that's why I'm rewarding her for doing that now. So she's doing very good. And that's how you get a stable dog. You got to work with them, teach them obedience. Through the obedience, we use behavior modification. We use operant conditioning to do that behavior modification. Good girl, good place. Intermittently here, rewarding her for doing a good job on the play. So yeah, that's about it. She's doing a good job. It takes time to train a dog. At first, it doesn't look great. You see a lot of unsure behavior from the dog, but especially a dog with 4 years on her, she's been allowed to kind of run the home and do things how she wants. You know, no one's been ultimately been able to be dominant over her, which is that's what I'm doing, but I do it in a humane and positive way for her. In case you didn't notice during the video, she gets a lot of atta girls and not too many no's. And that's what it looks like. In the beginning of the training, the dog hears no a lot, you know, and they get corrected for the bad behavior because I haven't been with her the past 4 years. So when she comes to me, now I start to give her more of a clear line of communication and let her know what I want and what I don't want. But at first, there's a lot of, hey, no, don't do this. But later on, just weeks into training, like my dog all day, years of being with me, all he hears is good boy, good girl, because they know what I want. And if you know how to successfully train the dog properly, you're going to get what you want from the dog. So all day, all she hears is good girl, like this. Good girl, good place.